Hey, hello YouTube. It's been a bit since I've done any updates on the camper build. So this is going to be the first update camper build video in a while, and I'll just apologize ahead of time that it's a little bit helter-skelter, a little hodgepodge, little this and that going on. Maybe not a lot of cohesiveness because I'm kind of in the middle of a bunch of things at once. So I'm just going to throw them at you. I am hoping here in the very near future that all of these little bits are going to come together and we're going to have something that is going to be amazing. So come along for the ride. We'll get right into this and show you what I've been up to over the last number of weeks. Again, thanks for watching. Sometimes when you're wrapping up the interior of your camper, you're also doing the exterior. Makes sense, I guess. But with that being said, I've got a couple of things that we're finishing up. One was the permanent mounting of the tail lamps. I ended up having a really, see if you get enough light back here, a really neat bracket and some bolts that I was able to use. I'm still wrapping that up, putting it in a nice loom. Tail lamps are on. They look factory. This is interior, but this is interior/exterior. So the exit door here, not an exit door, this utility door that allows access to the bed of the truck was just, plywood. All this was just plywood before, but now, of course, it's sheeted in, and this was pretty rough. The front window that was in the cab over portion that I removed had the interior trim. It was kind of in rough shape, cleaned it up, painted it black, and was able to put a bezel around that and make that look more finished and tighten up the wall. Also back here, diesel heater. I hope this is okay. I hope this is right. That thing, I was pushing 400 and some odd degrees coming out that tailpipe running. This is how the side would have looked if I had left it with the bright aluminum. But anyway, so I trimmed that out. I just can't believe they put the fuel line right next to the exhaust like that, but they do. So I've got the fuel line coming down, turning. I've got an insulative wrap on it here. Obviously there's going to be a lot of heat here. Still not sure if I can put a heat shield or, what we can do differently with that. Time will tell. So on the door, I've had this drying under weight for the last 24 hours. So you are seeing with me for the first time how that did, and looks like it glued down. It's dirty right now, but this is the exterior of the door that leads to the bed of the truck. So this is interior, exterior, right? I mean, I've got to close it off and make this work, but in order to make that door proper, I've got to do both sides of it. That's kind of what I'm working on now. I've got to clean that up, see if it'll still fit. When I put that trim, it made the hole opening slightly smaller. So I very painstakingly had taken my oscillating tool and I took off basically like a pencil's width around the whole area before I glued this down. And now I'm going to take an abrasive and I'm basically going to, almost like a router, and just smooth that so that that edge is smooth all the way around. We'll do that, and then this side is very boring. Very boring. It needs some caulking, some paint. We really don't know yet. I don't know how I'm going to finish that off. We'll keep you posted here. Making progress, even though it just doesn't quite look like it. So now we have two freshly painted Titan jacks that I really wish I hadn't had to paint. The factory powder coating or whatever they bake enamel on them was in fantastic shape until I ground it up and bubblegum welded on those brackets. But those brackets now allow it to attach to the brackets on the camper, which are not the kind of brackets anyway, whatever. I'm gonna let that dry, a couple coats of paint on it, semi-gloss, primered it, Painted it, bare metal treated it. Let's let that dry.
The one thing that I saw on the internet that I thought was interesting was it advised against smushing it down, which you would think would make it easier to cut, but they said if you smush it down, that could distort your foam. So you can see, almost cut through already. Here we go, first cushion. Looks a lot better than this guy. Four more to go.
Well, welcome to the construction zone here. We're in the middle of a dozen things at once. The Sierra truck that will be carrying this camper has proven to be quite the worthy opponent, and I've been very involved in the front suspension, wheel bearings, axles, you name it. Not pleasant. But here we are in the camper. Right now what I'm working on is the plumbing. I've kind of laid out my strategy. This camper has basically a wet system with an open drain. There's no gray tank, there's no black tank. I do believe if I'm in a situation where I have to collect my gray water, it won't be a problem connecting exterior-wise to something. I've had to order some special size hole saws. Had to order a few hole saws specific to these outlets, and I've ordered a variety of different fittings to connect. So we're just going to get with this. I've kind of got stuff everywhere. Right now, the camper is not going to have hot water. That's probably going to come. It's never had hot water, from what I can tell. I have options, and I'm thinking them through. So we'll go through those as they happen. So anyway, come along as we get this thing wet and make it work. Hopefully I have all the parts. This has been a couple weeks in the making, and we're just gonna get with it. Some of the parts that I have for this, in fact, really most of the parts I have for this are left over from other projects. I have a lot of these PEX Quick Connect. Pretty much, this one is I think it says C-Tech. Pretty much all the ones that are out now are SharkBite, at least that you get at Lowe's and Home Depot and whatnot. But for a while there was just a variety of different types. I like these because I can disconnect and reconnect it. There are some very cool products on the market, and camper companies don't use these. They use a kind that's a tool that swells it up and has a little fitting and it shrinks down, or they have a collar that they clamp on. Those are great. They really are great. Very robust. They're great for vibrating and stuff that happens in campers. They're actually even good with cold weather if there's a freeze. But what they're bad about is you can't take them back apart. And in this case, what I love about these is you pop the clip, squeeze it, take it apart just like a fuel line on your modern car. And that way too, while I'm doing this, if I change my mind a half a dozen times, which I will, I can change it without having to buy a new fitting. Or the expensive tool, that little swelling tool they use is big money. The pump I have in here is a leftover from a project that I used to use actually for a mobile firefighting kit to go out and burn pheasants forever, go out and burn fields. and then put out the fire around the edges using my Humvee or my old John Deere Gator. That pump is fantastic, super robust. I'm happy with that. We've added an outdoor shower. We put a fancy, whatever looking faucet on here. And it's just really a matter of hooking it all up right now, finding places to stuff things, and then thinking forward about tying into a gray tank and or a water heater is all part of the plan. Come along. So I got to figure out where to put my pump, and the original pump was down by the water tank, but I think I'm going to put it up inside the cabinet here. I hate to use up space. That's better. So I'm trying to figure out where to put the pump. The original pump in here was actually a little tiny one, smaller than my fist. It was down low by the tank. I believe I'm going to take this one and mount it up inside here. It's going to take away a little bit of cabinet space, but I think it's just a better place to put it. Oh, excuse me. And it's getting real busy in here. My connection to fill is right here. This is going to take a 3 1/4 drill. I think I'm going to start out my insanity today by getting this thing installed. And I'm going to kind of go from there. Nothing like cutting holes through freshly skinned, worked carpentry, new wood, just nothing like putting holes in things, right? All right, well, I figured out really approximately where this bezel's gonna sit. Marked off my center, and I'm not a fan of what I'm about to do, but I've got to keep this as low as possible, close to the corner, whatnot. So here we go. That part was easy. You see, your hole saw has a center pilot that is nice for keeping things centered. Here comes the ugly. Ooh, that's not what I expected to happen. So as usual, that's kind of going bad right off the bat. Eek. Oops. All right, I guess it goes up like that. Oh, crap. Kind of put that in the wrong spot, didn't I? Okay. Well, crapola. It's just not how that was supposed to go. All right, well, let's go get the other tool. See if I can make a bigger mess out of it. We'll talk about less than optimum. Well, something's holding it up right here. Okay, let's see. We are trying to get something like this. Okay. Come on now. Go in your home. Water on. Wow, that was ugly. Hopefully I do a better job on literally everything else I touch at this point. Got a water test in progress. Just checking out the tank for leaks and checking out my fittings. I made a mistake on another camper I had, putting all this in without testing, and I had a leak inside like crazy on brand new flooring and all that. So, all right, so that's I don't know what's going on with my phone there. Anyway, so now we've got it checking out. I didn't have any leaks. I'm draining it, and it's all looking good. We'll get this in the camper here soon. So a quick look at this complete and total disaster in here. It's just laying here. Remember, we don't have hot water yet, so my hot water line coming out of the outdoor shower is tied straight to the hot water line going to the sink. That way I don't have any back feed, you know, coming through. So got my valves. It looks a mess, I know. Pump is mounted. Tank with vent, pickup, and my drain. So still got some more work going on here to get all this cleaned up, but the next thing I got to do is punch these holes here for the drain and the vent. Not fun, not fun, not fun. That's how the backside of that whole debacle turned out right here on the outside. It actually turned out the way I needed it to. Just, dear Lord, it looks hideous. Only we know, right? Let's go inside and see how the sewing's going on the bunks. So here's the assembly line for the bunks. Oh, they're not bunks. They're just cushions for the bed / dining table. And it's off to the races here. These guys are wondering when all this is going to be done. They're just patiently waiting. Yeah, there we go. Little by little. All right, well, you know, I muffed up that one pretty well. I'm gonna give this one a shot. Stand by. Well, that wasn't too bad. This right here, I clearly got lucky, perhaps, but the distance is super, super close. Doesn't leave me a lot of room for the backing nut, but we're gonna be all right. There we go. A couple holes down, couple to go. Well, let's take a look at this rat's nest of stuff. I tested my seals and connections on the fill tube outside, air pressurized it, clamped it down. I'm going to have to roll that, feel pretty good about it. I went ahead and foamed in around to try to reduce just thermal issues and stuff associated with that. All right. Outdoor shower is attached. Again, just to go over the plumbing, I have the fresh water coming up from the tank on a 1/2-inch line. ID goes up, it'll suck it up in. Oops, that's out of place. It's going to suck that up into this pump. Pump will then pressurize, push down. It'll create water for the shower outside and water for the sink. Okay, hot water. Just again, we currently have no hot water source. I went ahead and teed the hot water for the sink, and the hot water here, this is just a deadhead. It doesn't go anywhere, but that way we don't bleed over any water through the, you know, and drip inside of here, whatever. So it's connected, plugged. In the future, when we come up with a water heater idea, and I've got a bunch of ideas, what we'll do is I'll just put another T in, either here or here, maybe here. We'll put a T in, we'll pick up, run that to the hot water creator, bring it back, and then you'll see something similar with a T to this here. But again, I love these fittings. I can take them apart, put them back together. I've actually already done that a couple times. Feeling pretty good about it. I've siliconized the countertop that I made with, it says it's almond, but doesn't look very almond to me. Gonna go ahead and drop the sink in. So last look at this. As far as the plumbing, the gray water exits right out of the side of the camper. That's 1970 original equipment right there. I don't know, my grandfather did. Somebody fusses at me. I can collect it outside in a bucket if need be. I mean, we don't have that much. What is this? 20 gallons? 15 gallons? I don't know. What's here? So we don't have that much to begin with. And most of the time we're going to be places that other campers aren't. And, you know, your shower is going to run out on the ground. This is just going to be washing hands, cleaning dishes. So we'll figure that out later. But right now all this is set up and I am ready to drop the sink in. Well, pretty happy with the drain. It reaches the right spot and it's pretty cool, just using as much of the modern PEX quick connects as I can, and she's good to go. So I'm going to put some blocks in here to hold this down. I'd removed a support here that's necessary for this bench to sit tight so that I could get the tank out. Let's go ahead and rebuild all that, and I'm debating on whether I'm going to use plumber's tape really to screw this down or something different. So stand by for a decision. And otherwise, this is all set. Silicone's drying. Sink is sinking. You know, whatever. All that's together. And here we go. So what we're looking at here is a modified 1970 truck camper vent hood that, well, that I modified. I couldn't find anything shippable to me in Alaska for a powered vent hood. This used to be like an avocado green or something. I don't remember the color of it, but I did put it in that textured color. What really kind of kicked a lot of things off here is that the original vent that was out here was well, no good. So I went with a modern style vent, and that required some additional framing around the outside before I put the siding on, but I did get it in here and it's there, it's functional. And this new vent hood, which is the old vent hood, is equipped with a 12-volt fan in a housing. Probably not going to produce a lot of air, but it's better than nothing. And if we really have an issue, we'll just open the max fans on the roof and just let it rock. But in any event, I've got sealed up here. This is a piece of black aluminum from the normal siding. Got a light set up in here, glued in place with an on-off switch. The switch will activate the light and the fan. I figure if you get the light on, if you want the fan on, you're probably cooking. If you're cooking, you probably want the light on. So I think all of it goes together. By having the fan going when the light's on, although if you want, you'll be able to reach up in here and turn it off and have just fan. Let's see if this goes. It's all built out. I'm going to hang it in place and then go from there. Going to test this out. There's our blower fan assembly, light, switch, and all. Flick of the switch. Fan is engaged. I mean, it's sucking. And out here, you can see it's blowing. See it's blowing this paper? I mean, I realize gravity is trying to figure out how to... You can see it fluttering there. It's got a lot of air pressure coming out. Pushing strong. So I think that's going to evacuate our stove gases just fine. And, you know, total investment in this was peanuts. compared to what I was going to spend on something that was pre-made. So pretty cool. Well, good morning, and I'm going to say welcome back, but you didn't go anywhere in between. Either way, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I actually have 2 days off work. Super excited about that. Today is Thursday, and I'm taking Thursday and Friday off. We have a couple things coming up. I need to get things done. We have family coming in town, and I need to get things done before we do that. So where are we today? Another trip to, this time we did go where doers get more done. Home Depot, and bought some Pergo flooring. Got that over here. We had bought some other flooring at Lowe's. I still can't remember their jingle. Anyhow, so we took that back. It just wasn't going to be right. We'll see about this. Supposedly waterproof. We'll see. Something, if you care. Oh, here we go. The quarter round that you ultimately need to put down, I wanted to buy actual wood, not that press wood particle cardboard stuff. These jokers were like $16, $17 a piece. So expensive, but it claimed somehow those are wood, and it said something about them being waterproof. I don't believe it. So what's my big issue is this wall here. They had put the stick-on sticky tiles, and I filled in the hole where the old heater was. And man, you know, I've just got some massive cleanup. I've got the old flooring. This wall here is super sticky. Can you hear that? It's sticky. Go way back. Look at my very first video when I brought this home, and you'll see some rubber that was stapled and glued in here. Unbelievable. Clearly water leak issue going on, and they solved it by basically putting a rubber bladder in here to whatever. Sometimes when I'm out here in the garage working, I like to turn on Cops on the Pluto channel. I don't know, just watching people. Anyhow, so I got the stick-on flooring off that they had put here. You can see, I don't have to narrate. In here, where are we in here? Boom, 4 jacks, semi-gloss black. But they're gonna work. They're gonna work good on my 1970. Oh, I put the weather strip around the door opening. It looks terrible. Sealed up that gap. So I'm going to get started on trying to put something down here to see what happens. So I'm motoring away, putting this stuff. It's not turning out, guys. Not happy. But right now it's about getting this thing roadworthy in order to just get it out this season. This gadget right here is really handy. If you don't have one, get one. And so this gadget here lets me come up with the angle of this lower cut down here. I'm gonna get this piece cut, glued. I've painted that. That used to be white. Gonna paint it black, and try to get all this stuff in so we can put some pretty flooring in here. Well, hours and hours later. I'm not super happy with it. I'm just not. But it is highly unfinished right now. I ended up having to run staples along with the glue to get those things to adhere. I do have trim that still has to go on. It's going to hide some of the bad spots. But overall, we've got that completely done. My nice black doors now. Painted the grill black. Put that all back together on that upper bunk. Kept the one strip running along the bottom that someone else had done, and then built this out in here. I've got some corner moldings and some caulking and some stuff has to go in here, but there you go. Next is to throw the Pergo down. In a camper, in a house, whatever, you got to think it out. You have to look at some things, look at the patterns to make sure that you don't repeat the same board twice and, you know, side by side. I'm terrible about that. These things interlock, have to be tapped in, and you have to think about the process, where they're going to start, where they're going to end. I know in my situation, all my boards need to definitely be at least twice the length of this first joint. I don't want the joint anywhere near, I don't want one of those joints anywhere near this line, just in case it moves. Yeah. It looks like it's going to go 4 full ones wide and then a cut. And then the cut is going to get tricky, technical term, because it has to drop inside that door opening. Work its way over here into this. We're calling this the bathroom because the porta potty is going in here. So I just got to sit and think this out. But I think what I'm going to do, Nikki likes to see completely unrandom. Wait a minute. I said that wrong. She likes to see random patterns in the lines. I like to see an even split here. Dink, 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 dink. Maybe we'll get somewhere in between. I'll get them close. If you get them close to being exactly sectioned, but you get it off just a little, your crooked eye will bother you every time you look at it. So if you're going to be asymmetric, I think it needs to be significantly asymmetric. Sometimes it depends on your overlap of materials. So anyway, so that's, I think I have 10. It's 4 laying in there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, there's only 8 per box. Might need another box, that's fine. So we'll start getting that in. I've just got to spend some time thinking through. Another cup of coffee will help with that. And start figuring out where this goes in. And then all that ugliness will go away. It'll still be here. You just won't see it. Arguably, my most difficult piece to install is this one. Literally shaped like the letter H. Get it? Literally H. Anyway, to drop in this door. I've been working on this for a bit, and I actually think I nailed it. So I don't want to get too cocky about it yet, but I think I got it in there. So I'm getting ready to snap it in and call that puppy installed. And that bad boy really tried my patience to figure out some lines. There's trim going in there. Don't worry about the fit. That's what, you'll see. But yeah, pretty neat. Basically what I did, cut it out like the letter H with a long H on one side, and set it in, kind of dropped it in, laid it over. So very happy with how that came out. And if I was doing a different type of flooring, I would patch that. You see where the old stuff is kind of pulled up. I would actually patch that with a compound. If this floor was more flexible and thinner. This floor actually has a backing on it. It has a full, yeah, I'll get a piece out and show you. So the flooring actually has the pad built in, which is pretty sweet. Oh, look at that. October 2022. That's been sitting around a little while. But yeah, the pad helps cushion, soften, and let it float and flow over the imperfections in the floor. So far, so good. Get him locked in, cut that piece, start my complex pieces inside here, and then the quarter round. It's hard to believe my brand new floor is already filthy dirty, but it is filthy dirty. What's happening now is these are solid hardwood. This quarter round, 3/4 round I'm putting in here. Well, it's quarter round, but it's 3/4 inch thick. It claims to be waterproof. I don't know how, but anyway, I'm going to be ear nailing this down here shortly. And it's going to get complicated once I get up in there. But I've got these 3 pieces in. We'll do a little filler here, and then I'm going to put a plate here. You'll see. But I don't know why I narrate everything I'm getting ready to do instead of just saying, watch me. I don't know. So this is actually technically, it's a floating floor. And it's not, when I put it together, you cut it a little short. You hide it with this thing. But you cut it a little short, and that, they say that these things will shrink and swell and move over time, and that will cause, it'll cause it to buckle if you don't have room for it to scoot. The vinyl trim and stuff doesn't, it also can move, which can be an issue. But this stuff, definitely being an actual, I don't know, maybe someone out there can comment on Pergo better than me. But I believe it is some kind of a hardwood. It's very hard. Beat the snot out of my saw blades. But yeah, come in here, lay it down, trim it in. Nice. Now, something I was noticing, I don't know if this door, oh, sweet. There's like no room to spare, but it made it. All right, so this main floor, excuse me, sorry guys, this main floor is down. I got to cut a little tiny piece there. I'm going to save my tiny pieces for the very end and get this goofy space in here taken care of next. Yeah, so today is Friday, and I took yesterday and today off work. Been good so far. Today, not accomplishing much. I got some Perk Up coffee. I've been all over the place to the stores. Started putting some of the doors and things back in here. It's just amazing how much more finished that makes everything look. I did end up, I broke down and I bought the high dollar torque lift stairs. They're over there in that box. Yeah, too much money. These are the trim pieces I'm putting around the skylights, the air vents, whatever, the roof vents. They, since my roof is thinner than what it could be, I have to cut down the shroud, and that's normal. So I'm going to cut down the shroud and get my bezels that I made, my wooden bezels, and get all that put up here. It's going to feel pretty good. And let's see if I can't build a door for that space under the stove. Neville, here you go. How about that? Got my bezels around the fans, the wood trim. They look a little massive because of that. They're in here running. I'm playing around with this one. This one is on in, and this one is on out. And I'm just kind of experiencing the whoosh, whoosh, moving the air through. Details. I stink at details. I truly do when it comes to interior. But I realized when I was at the hardware store that where doers get more done, this time I get it right. That was Home Depot. But needed a little cover for that, so I picked it up. And anyway, that feels good. I got some silicone sealant that's the color of the flooring to close up and seal that gap back there. And the floor can still shift and move and stretch a little bit. I've got some things in here that are gluing and drying. And we are nibbling away at this project. Just a little nibble at a time. And Friday off work is just going away fast. It's already 1 o'clock. But it's a Friday off work. Can't complain. Gonna go through my list and see what's next and do it. Well, I spent the money. Actually, Visa, MasterCard did, but anyway. So, went down to Cash Campers and picked up a 4-step torque lift aluminum with a glow light, which just means it's got glow-in-the-dark stickers on it. These things are okay. I think they're a major finger pincher and all sorts of things, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Now, as far as installing it, they sent instructions. I looked at the pictures. All right, well, steppage among us. Been reading the instructions and comparing to my install. I think I did it right. But there's our steps. Give them a shot. 20, 30. I don't have any complaint with that. And you know, they are what they are. Hopefully the dogs don't have a problem. It looks like, I haven't tried this yet, so this will be fresh on camera here. So this thing goes up in here if you want to just temporarily put them up. There's a latch on the back, but you know, I wouldn't transport the camper like this. Pull the pins and put them inside. Put the stair step inside, but it can just, I guess, hang there. That would end up banging the tailgate if it was allowed to. But yeah, we have stepping among us, making progress, making progress. So I got a checklist that is kind of up to date, but not. We've changing some things as we go. One of the things on here is to roof seal. That's going to be the die core that goes around the vents. So, and also what this doesn't say is roof seal, and then it should say right over here somewhere, it should say also the clear sealant around the exterior lamps. In other words, I'm going to put a little bead of clear sealant around these, even though they're butyl taped, just for that last layer of protection. So first thing first though, this die core lap sealant, great stuff. I got the black, and I'm going to take some alcohol, wipe and clean all of that up there, and then get this put in. I've got 3 tubes, looking at maybe spending 1.5 tubes per vent. So we'll see how that goes. So it's like life. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. In this case, I talked to the folks that make this roofing material, and they said that there's a little bit of oil or wax or something on it. And they said to enhance adhesion, we'll remove that. And so this alcohol cleans both the plastic on the vent and the roof. Said dot on the screw, go around it, and then zigzag it. Grabbing tube number 3 of the mysterious bald-headed man. Climbing up here. Stuff's pretty nuts the way it works. We truly live in the future, don't we? Yeah, so there we go. Some seriously gooped up, goobered over roof vents. So it's really kind of a triple seal. The silver roofing material, the peel and, what do they call that stuff? Peel and stick, peel and go, something, something. So that stuff is wrapped over the opening. Hopefully that'll direct any leakage through and then just in instead of up inside the ceiling. Then you've got the butyl tape between the vent and the roof membrane. And then you have this stuff just all over there. All right, we're going to come down. I also took my roller and I re-rolled out the overlapping seams, made sure they were tight. They're tight. We're ready for some rain. Also put a little Dicor on the corners. I don't think that was necessary, but I put it there. I've got a 3-piece overlap going on between the metal roof and the membrane there, and 2 layers of butyl tape. I'm not Dicoring that. A lot of times on RVs you see those rails Dicored. Not going to Dicor that. So, all right, let's head down and start doing the sealant around the lights. All right, so we've made a decision. I've probably hinted towards it, I don't know, but we're not going to get too wound up about the interior right now. There's a million things we could do with all this, and it's just going to take time, a lot of time. So we'll use it this season. We'll figure out what works, what doesn't, and then we'll focus on beautifying basically these exterior surface. But right now I do have raw wood up in there, and I'm going to go ahead and hop in. We like this brown deck stain. We actually use it on the house in a few places. It's called chestnut, and it's made to go right on over your raw wood, seals it up real nice. I'm going to crawl up there and go ahead and treat all that. So thanks again for coming along for this part of the ride. I can promise you these cushions that my wife sewed for this are just absolutely amazing. But it's going to be a little bit until we can put them in here and kind of show you what that came out to be, including the mattress up there. I've got some big plans actually that I'm excited about, a little nervous as well. We'll get into all of that on the upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will continue to make more videos and eventually take you on adventures with us in Alaska in this old camper. Thanks for watching.